So here is a screen cap of a dashboard created by one of my delegates while I was teaching in the Northern Cape. I'm very proud of this. She has a clear idea of how to arrange her graphics. Very neat, very tidy, also minimalist, also everything aligned, correct sizes. I love the color schemes. So very, very good. So that's the screen cap. Very proud of that. Mine does not look as good, but this video is going to show the different elements of the dashboard. Please look at the clear elements. So if we were to divide this up into 4 sections, you'd see here. So into 4 sections, let's just make this a bit bigger. There we go, to 4 sections. So what we're looking at, on the top left-hand corner, we've got the KPIs. In this case, cost of sales, sales, and target. The KPIs should be there, okay? On the left-hand side, you should have your slices, and of course, we only had one slicer here. These are the salespeople. On the top right, you should have your label or your heading for whatever dashboard this is. And then this huge section here should have your actual items or your graphics. That is now your pivot tables, your stacked graphs or clustered columns, or your map, and in this case a double line chart. So why didn't I put, as many videos have suggested on YouTube, put the KPIs across the top? Because if these just perhaps happen to grow in size depending on which salesperson you choose, it may be bigger, slightly bigger, then it'll stretch those and it won't look tidy. So I like to keep them on the top left. All right. Why would we have the slices on the left? Because we can control the whole thing from the left, and one can obviously do more than one slicer. Why do we have orange on blue? Because it's a wonderful contrast. We don't have green on blue or red on blue or blue on red. So these are the fundamental issues around a dashboard and how one should arrange a dashboard. Notice also the alignment. Everything is beautifully aligned. So that's what we suggest with regard to dashboards. So we're looking at the data for the selling of bikes. Our entire data set is about 1,500 records long. It's a bit untidy. For example, our decimal places are not all consistent. Our dates are not all consistent, so we probably need to clean up on that. If you want your dates to be arranged in a proper date hierarchy in the pivot table, you need to clean that up. And let's go with short date over here. If it still doesn't clean up, but that's cleaned up very nicely there. But if it still doesn't clean up, we recommend that you select paste into Notepad and then copy paste back into Excel. All right, let's get these decimals sorted out. So I'm just going to go down to 2 decimal places there. Looks much better. Should have chosen both of them. And there we go, that's 1 decimal place, so 2 decimal places over there. So looking a lot better now. Alright, the other thing is, of course, one could format it as table, but remember you do lose some functionality in Excel if you format as table. Choose a different design this time, and there we go. So there we clear. So everything is looking pretty good there. Please note that the kind of functionality you use with this is you lose, for example, subtotals. You'll see over there we lose subtotals. All right, good. All right, so we're going to create 2 extra sheets. The one sheet is analytics. All right, and then the 3rd sheet is the actual dashboard. Now let's look at mine that I tried to open up, and there we go. There's my dashboard. So you can see data, analytics, and dashboard, and you'll see here this dashboard does work quite nicely with the KPIs up at the top left hand corner. Right, I arranged 1, 2, 3, 4 objects on the bottom right hand corner, map, double line, pivot table with some conditional formatting, and a column cluster, column stack should I say. Let's go back to this one. So what we do on the dashboard side is we just give it some color. So let's go here. All right. Alright, so I'm going to give it some color over there. Now here's the important thing with color, that you choose a dark and then you choose a pastel. So that's what I would recommend. Alright, so pastel for that second section in your dashboard. Alright, let's go there and choose a light gray perhaps. There we go. Alright, then what we do is we insert our heading, and I would usually recommend word art for that. So what we're going to do is bike sales national. Nice contrast there with the light blue on the dark blue. There we go. Alright, and over here you start creating your KPIs. But let's go to the next video for that.